Moving things right along, let's talk about the Heavy Gunner Machine Gun build. This one is your classic battlefield tank, sporting heavy armor and weapons, including machine guns and explosives, where your goal is to deal as much destruction as possible, while also soaking up damage and distracting enemies for your team. For the best trait here, you'll want the Resilient trait, as this automatically revives you once per combat round, so that even when you do go down, you'll come right back. In terms of skills, guns is your go-to starting skill, and throughout the game, scaling your gun damage by 10% per point invested, and giving you access to some of the most devastating perks in the entire game. Engineering is another skill you should focus on here, as each point invested into engineering increases your damage resistance, and you can stack a ton of armor with some great engineering-focused defensive perks. For weapons, you'll have a ridiculous amount of options for this one, as the Outer Worlds 2 really pushes the envelope in terms of weapon selection and destruction. For example, before finishing the first planet, you should be able to get your hands on the Chain Spark Cannon, which is a machine gun that uses shock rounds to chain lightning between your enemies. This thing is absolutely devastating, especially versus robots who are weak to that shock damage. Other options include the explosive machine gun called Agatha, which you can get on Free Market Station, which is also amazing. For longer range combat, consider picking up the rocket launcher, which is harder to get ammo for, but when you need it, it's absolutely amazing. For armor, you can get Car's Cuirass early on. This provides a ton of defensive potential. You could also try the Gothic armor set, which is also fairly easy to get, looks cool, and also helps you stack your max health. And then there's the bomb suit, which gives you some interesting options if you lean into using explosive weapons like Agatha, as the helmet here gives you a temporary health boost for dealing explosive damage, making you essentially invincible in combat. And finally, for perks, lean into more defensive options at the start, such as Bullet Shield, which gives you more damage resistance and max health, and the Shrug It Off perk for temporary health at the start of combat, plus the Makeshift Armorer perk, which increases your armor value anytime you craft, which you'll be doing quite often on this build to craft your own ammo. For offensive perks, check out the Hail of Lead option, which increases your damage the more you fire your weapons, and the Tinkerer perk, which increases the damage for modded weapons based on your engineering skill. All told, this is by far one of the most fun builds I've played in the Outer Worlds 2, though you will need a ton of ammo, so be prepared to craft a lot or spend a lot of bits.